Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And this morning I want to make a like a scrapper's house, or like not a scrapper's house, but like mutants that live on the surface's house. But I want it to be kind of like something that's playable and openable. So I'm gonna need like a bigger base. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this board game box. It's pretty sturdy. Oh. And as usual, that ain't cutting shit. I'm going to save this because these are sturdy pieces that I can use for scatter and stuff like that. Then I want to do something about this shape of this. I want to make it something a little more usable. But first, we got to make sure nobody can get hurt by this in the garbage. That's just what you do. With as many blades as we go through in this hobby, we got to make sure that we take the time to do things safe so that nobody gets hurt. All right. So, there's a good shape for our base. So let's start with the side walls. The side walls we can do in regular cardboard. So let me grab some of that. Let me grab flat edge. So we want them to be tall enough for miniatures. And we don't want it to all be the same height because we want it to look like it's going to be hidden in a scrap pile. That was not a good straight cut at all. Okay, so you want to make some hallways to start out. Like this is going to be sloped down at scrap size. So what we can do is we can kind of make the basic shape, and that might be a little bit tall. We want to hide miniatures in there, but we don't want this to be anything insane. We want this to be something that looks like it could not be a building at all. But it is a bunker where people do live. Well, maybe not people so much. We want this to be playable, so we will cut it down some once we get it together. Let's bring this out a little bit more. We want a doorway. It's kind of accessible. It's going to have to be a little wider than that. It's going to be wider than that yet. Okay, that'll work. That'll be wide enough for sure. We're going to sturdy this up a little bit before we start trying to cut top layers off. more melty magic. Spleen. Yeah, pre-cutting all this probably would have been smarter, but we didn't do that. That's okay. That's all right. We don't have to do everything smart. Sometimes we can just have a good time doing stuff. Maximum efficiency is not always akin to maximum good times. All right. So we're going to need to build these sides up to where we can put scrap on them and make it look like this isn't a permanent, or isn't a beautiful manufactured structure. So we're just going to pick some areas. Just sturdy that up. That's all I'm doing. Just making some rough 90s. Just strengthen this up. Now, let's shrink this up to make it a little more realistically playable. And to do that, I'm just cutting that down so we can get our hands in there easier to use this. See that? Nothing too fancy. Then we're just going to take any excess pieces we have and we're going to mush those. And we're going to start building a kind of outer structure like this. So just get a little bit of glue, shove this down. Any spots where you can connect it to the base, try to do that. Smashing up cardboard like this, one, costs us nothing. Because you get free cardboard everywhere. And two, it'll make for some interesting shapes. And if it's burning your hand a little bit, that's okay. It just means that you love what you're doing. Let's get some bigger pieces to make this a little easier. Bigger pieces will cover holes easier and stuff like that. Okay, that's too short. Let's cut some more cardboard. Now, if you didn't want to use cardboard for this, another good option, if I can find some, could be styrofoam. This kind here, you'll have to definitely Mod Podge. But this can kind of fill in these gaps. And it's easily shapeable. So check this out. What we're going to do is we're going to get some of that there. We're going to shove it into place, just like that. Drag the glue around. And this is a good gap filler as well. Let me get more melty magic. It really just comes down to what you want this to look like underneath. But that's going to give it a little bit of a sturdier platform for sure, but I don't know how it's going to look. Anyways, let's get back to work here with the cardboard, because I think that's the way to go on something like this. Sturdy cardboard, thin cardboard, I don't think it makes an enormous difference in something like this. But I will tell you, sometimes holding stuff for a second does pay off. This might not look like much now, but I'm willing to wager that quite soon we're going to look at this and go, oh, okay, cool. Let's see what's happening here. Take your time and enjoy it too, because these kind of projects like this are some of my favorites, where I'm just really don't have a plan. I have an idea what I want it to look like when it's done in my head, but I have no plan. Plan zero. All these little weird sticky outy spots and stuff. I think this will add a lot to the project later also. These weird layers. Now, if you're living somewhere where it's hot and you're worried about this glue coming apart, using this much hot glue on a project, I would say painting this thing in Mod Podge or PVA or something wouldn't be a terrible idea. But if you're living somewhere where I am, where I have air conditioning and my stuff doesn't leave my house, usually hot glue like this, that's not going to be a problem. There's a lot of hot glue on this project. I was not planning on using this much. But then when I got this idea of using all these pieces, I was like, ah, crap. Glue city. I think I'm already on glue stick number 4. I don't know, I'm not counting really, but it's more than I had intended for sure. We're going to do something with this side over here, and we're just going to try to let's get some cardstock. Okay, just like that. And that's how we'll start covering up our bigger gaps. This cardstock's pretty malleable when it comes to getting shapes. If you need special big shapes for a spot, you can just cut out a size that you need. Pre-mushing these is cool to do. But you don't want this to look too perfect. So don't be afraid to get creative. Don't be afraid to force things a little bit to get it where you want it. Now, see how I have like a little bit of a gap there that I don't like? That's an easy fix. All I gotta do just get some of this gap closing material and close that gap. Pull that tight and snug, and that'll hide that right away. No problem. I have lots of this gap closing material here. Look at that. Sweet. There's some more gap that needs closed right here. I'm going to pull that down. That's going to make this even sturdier and even more beauteous. It's going to add a nice little look to this, I think. All right, and we need to just decorate the rest of this up with some parts. That'll be easy enough. We'll just get a little bit of glue, shove stuff on, hold it down for a second, get rid of the rest of our scrap. This will make it look interesting, and at the same time, going for randomness and not having a good plan here is going to give you a better result in the end. Because don't forget, this place isn't built by master craftsmen. It's built by idiots. I shouldn't say idiots. But likely, I should say, there was something inside here that indicated it could be dug out, or that this was a piece of something or a structure of something at one time. And maybe it was a part of a building that was covered up or collapsed, or maybe it was a, I don't know, something. Vehicle inside of an old vehicle, maybe. Who knows? No one really knows anymore. I'm just doing a little bit of work to cover up any inside gaps I don't like. There's some bigger holes there. I'm just going to shove cardstock in there and cover those up. No. Furniture and stuff like that, probably not so much of a thing for these people. Like I said, they're more of like a scrap-based people. But let's get some stuff we can use to make this look a little more terrible. So I have here some granny grating. I'm just going to take some of that, maybe 2 pieces of that. I'm going to add some of that on here. to give it some different textures and some different looks. Oops. There you go, Granny, get on there. Okay. Then let's panel up this floor a little bit inside here, and to do that, we're just going to cut some cardstock up. Mush that down. And we need a door. So for our door, let's just get a piece of cardstock about yay big to be our door. Yeah, perfect. Cut it to the closest right height. About like that. Sweet. Let's cut another smaller panel on it. Okay, let's cut a piece of granny grating and put it on that. And this is getting sturdier as the time goes on here. Okay. Oops. Okay. I'm going to snip this off a little bit. That's just a little bit tall. Okay, just like that. Pretty much exactly what we needed. And we need to hinge that in some way. So let's get a toothpick on there. Like that. There we go. Get a little bit more here. There we go. Whoops. All right, we're just about there. All right, if you have a coffee stirrer, this is the time to grab that. Get that stuck down in there pretty good, like that. Make sure your door's going to go into it. Okay, I cut my coffee stirrer too big. So to make my life easier, I'm just going to shove that out of the way and put another one. Just like that, see? Because I don't want too much drama here. So I'm going to snip another piece that's smaller and more manageable. Okay. And then I see I have a little problem here. And to fix that, I'm just going to make my door a little shorter. Like that. There we go. A little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to snip off my way more than I needed. Just like that. And I'm going to get a little piece of coffee stirrer again. I'll put that on this top piece here. Okay. I'm going to glue that in place. Just like that. I'll sturdy this up slowly. Okay. If I really want that to be super sturdy, I can do something like this. I can get a little piece of thin strap. Put it across that hinge piece like that and bring it down. And that will create some more sturdiness for my door. My door opens and closes just how I want it to, pretty much. Not exactly how I want it to. But kind of. I guess it works. All right, we need a lid. That's not going to work. This should work. So all I'm doing is flipping this upside down and roughly tracing. A shape that I hope will fit. And it's not going to fit that way for sure, but that's okay. We'll just straighten that up. Okay, and we'll snip that off. Does that fit? A little bit more off of there. Okay. That will fit to make it so it doesn't move around too much once it's in place. And then we'll just draw a generic kind of bigger shape to be the top of our garbage pile. It's pretty big, but we can snip it down as need be. Is it that way? That way. Does not fit. I'm going to snip this off a little bit back here. Just kind of figure out where this needs to come off. About like that. This is kind of a longer build, but it'll be all right. Look at that. Almost there. We don't need it to be perfect, but we do want it to look like we tried. Okay, now let's work on our garbage pile on top of this. So I think the smartest thing to do would be to do it in layers. I don't need a ton of glue for this part, I'm guessing. I could be wrong. Something like that. Let's see if that's built up high enough to, yeah, it's going to look like a proper mound. That's high enough. All right, so same thing. We just need to convert it into the same thing we got everywhere else. Oops. I'm just stirring that up a little bit. Nothing perfect. Let's get some granny grating on there so it kind of matches. Okay. Sweet. All right, I think we're kind of there. I did not plan on making this big of a mess. Only thing we need now is some stuff that makes it kind of sold as what do we want it to look like. So let's get some pieces of pipe and sticks and metal sticking out of it. Yeah, I know it's a long build. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean for this to turn into such a monster. I'm just looking for gaps where I can shove stuff now, because I didn't leave a lot of room to play. I think that we camouflaged this place pretty good, if I'm going to be honest. We get some sprues. Sprues are naturally good for this kind of stuff, adding a technological kind of vibe. Adding pipes and crap. You know what else would look nice? A couple pieces of corrugation. Broke up corrugation. This is actually adding kind of a natural handle to this lid, unintentionally, of course, but let's just run out of spots to jam shit. Okay. Now, to paint this up, I don't really know what the best way is at this point, dude. Probably black bomb it. There is some foam in there that could create some noxious chemicals. I was just showing you how to fill in space. I hadn't really no intentions of using foam on this project. I'm gonna put some tools away. Then we'll look at it one more time. I got a lot of tools out for nothing here. Oh, let's look and see if a miniature fits in there like I hoped. Nice. All right, got some, why is my bench not sitting right? I just don't know. Got a lot of spider webs. You know how to deal with those. Minor burning hand spell. And even though we're doing futuristic stuff, you can still use magic if you want. A little bit of magic goes a long way. I like magic. There we go. Let's get rid of that kind of garbage. All right. Now, I wanted the inside to look like it was carved out of rubble, but that didn't work out for me. Why is this door not doing what I want? Oh, I got a little bit of gunk there. Okay. Let's knife that out of the way. Knife and some gunk. No worries, homies. All right, cool. And if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, that's your fault. No, I'm teasing. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all that stuff that kind of makes the algorithm enjoy the content too. It makes it share it and become popular and all that fanciness. I don't know if I even believe in the algorithm anymore. I don't know. We'll see. We had some weird things happen. Like I had a short that had like 500 views in like no time at all. We couldn't figure out what I did different. But anyways, yeah, there you go. That is our cool little mutant home situation. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Check out the description down there. There'll be a Discord link, and believe it or not, yeah, there will be a website link to the Dungeon Swag website. And I'll see you next time when we come back and paint this sick monster up. I'm going to spray paint it black, douse it with some primer red, which is brown, and then maybe hit it with some metallic, and then we'll paint it all up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.